Hey everybody, welcome back to Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Shep, Messing, and Jason, the producer. This is Act 3. Get to the points. So many teams that need points right now, and some big games this weekend, including the Impact Game of the Week, which Los Angeles at Columbus. This is a game that has ramifications for the Supporters' Shield, which of course then has ramifications for home field advantage. Yeah, definitely. I think it's an interesting matchup now, the way that they're playing. LA plays very well on the road. Columbus potentially playing without Chad Marshall in the back. I think that's a big question for them.
I think an important factor is for the rest of the league watching, who can go into Columbus, beat them at their home. I think LA Galaxy, one of the few teams that can do that. Well, arguably, this is also a preview of MLS Cup. I mean, people have been talking about LA as a possible dark horse from the Western Conference
they're not dark horse anymore. I mean, you have to.
I don't know. You lose 6-3 to Dallas at home, and you start to get a little darker as a horse, if you will.
Sure.
I've always made the argument that it's very hard to repeat. I know we've seen Houston do it. Columbus, spectacular last year, got off to a poor start. They're playing exceptionally well now. It's very difficult to do it again.
Well, some other teams that are still fighting to get in the playoffs, especially the New England Revolution, they're on the outside looking in. Seattle, not secure in their position by any means, and the Revs hosting Seattle for the first time. Revs have no wins in the last 3 games. Seattle just 1 win in their last 5. Both of these teams could get the points out of this one.
Yeah, I think earlier we saw New England go into Seattle, surprise them with a 1-0 win. Shep, I know that didn't bode well for your ET Cup pick, or mine.
But it certainly bode well for LA.
But that's
for New England.
Seattle's really looking to return the favor. I think if Seattle can win this game in New England, they can essentially secure their playoff spot. They'd be 7 points ahead of the 3 teams that aren't in it. And Salt Lake and Toronto, with 4 games left, would have to make those 7 points up. But they play each other in one of those games. So, you know, that's less points for them to get. Seattle could basically cement themselves in with a win.
I think it's a critical game. It's a big game. It's been inexplicable to me why Seattle can't score goals. New England, they've been good and organized defensively. This one, for me, is 0-0 written all over it.
And Toronto at Chicago, another big game. Toronto still trying to get into the playoffs for the first time ever. Chicago in second place, chasing Columbus for the Eastern Conference lead. Basically, it doesn't get any easier for Toronto. They went out to Los Angeles. They lost. They brought in Julian de Guzman. That's good. But now they go to Chicago. How do you see that one going down?
Well, it was really unfortunate for Toronto that they keep running into this situation. They ran into LA the game after they had their massive breakdown. Now Chicago has a massive breakdown where they give up, 2 second-half goals to give up a lead. So they're going to tighten things up. If anything, I would say Chicago has been known to not play very well at home. So maybe Toronto, has that going for them, and de Guzman with a game under his belt.
And another week of training with the guys. That'll help.
I believe in Toronto. And I talked about de Guzman having to get integrated.
You believe in just about everybody.
I picked my earlier pick.
I know you did pick Toronto, but I always feel like when we get to this point that you say, I believe in these guys. I believe that you've believed in New England for like a month, and they're sitting way outside of it.
Yeah, they're still on my radar screen. But,
Okay.
But I think de Guzman now has made the adjustment. I think we've all talked about holes and problems for Chicago defensively. They haven't been stellar at home. And Toronto is the desperate team in this game. I think Toronto does a good job.
All right, well, we now have to get to the more important things. I'm going to let you believe in all of that stuff. I'm not sure if I believe in you as an ET Cup prognosticator.
I'm doing all right. Where do we stand?
Okay. Well, right now, it's
7-7-6.
Right. We all stay the same way.
Not a good week last week.
Not a good week. Last week, Shep, you had Seattle and Chivas. You had 1-0 for Seattle over Chivas. You were close. It ended up 0-0.
Yeah, I had the right team and I had the right score, but I didn't count on Zach Thornton playing out of his mind. So if I have to lose, I'm happy that it was because of Zach Thornton.
Well, you had a very similar score, 2-0 Seattle over Chivas, which actually looked pretty good considering all the attack.
I watched the game, and at the end of the game, I thought Seattle was winning 2-0. I mean, that's how much better they played than Chivas.
Well, I was on the Dallas bandwagon all week, and I picked them 3-1 over Kansas City. It ended up 3-2 Kansas City over Dallas. So none of us got any points, and Shep and I are still in the lead by a massive margin, 1 point, if you will. So Shep, what have you got for us this week?
This was an interesting week, and I factored in the midweek games that San Jose will play, DC United will play, so I think there'll be, I know Jason loves these travel scenarios, so both teams a little weary playing over the weekend DC United at home 1-0 over San Jose.
It's good.
Shep knows that I love these games, I guess, so we picked the same game again, unfortunately. I'm going to say it's 2-1, a little more scoring. I guess you'll go with the percentages of a low-scoring game, but I think DC is going to start to roll a little bit. Maybe San Jose gets one early, but DC fights back for it. They need the game. I mean, they need to win this game.
They do need to win this game, that's for sure. They only have 4 games left, so they need to get points from every game that they can. Well, I am going to go with Chivas 3-1 over New York.
Where are the goals coming from?
What?
Where are they getting 3 goals?
Paulo Nagamura. Going to come up huge. 2 goals from Paulo Nagamura. I'm going to say Chivas needing points. They've looked good of late. They've got a win and a draw. A win over New England. Big win. That was huge for them at home. And then the draw up in Seattle. They've got some confidence.
You just said that Chivas looked great recently. Or even if you said good. Zach Thornton looked good last week. Chivas as a team looked terrible. They couldn't hold the ball. They created very little offense.
Let him live with his pick. This is
I don't know what to talk to you.
3-1.
This is that chance.
It's 3-1.
Red Bulls have always played well out there in Los Angeles.
True.
They may have Angel back in the lineup. Should be a good game.
That's fine. Justin Braun's also going to score. There you go. They're my 3 in the 1. I think you'd have Angel get 1 goal. Well, we'll see how the ET Cup works out next week. You never know. I'm thinking I'll be in the lead. You can always email us at extratime@mlsnet.com. And don't forget the ET Guest Reporter Contest. Go to mlsnet.com, our website, on mlsnet.com to check out all the rules and how you can send us your video and maybe win a trip to MLS Cup. That's all we have for you this week, but join us next week and we'll kick it around.